There comes a time in your journey when the shift you've longed for is no longer approaching. It has already begun. You may not see the full picture yet. The evidence might still look like the old life. But trust this truth. The moment you imagined it, the moment you felt the reality of your desire, the shift was set in motion. You are not waiting for your life to change. You are aligning with the change that has already occurred in consciousness. You may feel resistance, confusion, or even fear, not because it's not working, but because your mind is adjusting to a higher frequency of belief. The discomfort is not a sign of failure. It's a sign that your old identity is being replaced by the new. What must you do now? Nothing, but remain faithful to the vision within. Your job is not to make it happen. Your job is to stay in the state of the wish fulfilled. Speak from it, walk from it, think from it. No matter what the world reflects back, trust what you've already accepted inside. The world is not your guide. Your imagination is. What you've accepted as real within must, by divine law, express itself in your world. The facts may temporarily contradict your desire. Ignore them. Don't fight them. Don't react to them. Simply reaffirm the new you. You are not becoming, you have already become. Everything happening around you now is part of the unfolding. Even the delays, the detours, the quiet moments, all of it is your bridge to the inevitable. Don't ask when or how. Those questions belong to the old mind. You are in a new reality now. Let life reveal itself. Walk through this moment as one who already has it. Sleep each night with the feeling that your desire is done. Speak only what affirms the new version of you. And when doubt whispers, smile and return to the truth. It's already yours. So stay in faith. Hold your inner world sacred. The major shift is not coming, it is here. And soon the world around you will catch up to what you've known all along. Thank you. There is a profound spiritual truth that is often overlooked in our quest for change. You have already moved realities. The moment you imagined your desire fulfilled, not just as a fleeting thought, but as a vivid felt experience, you shifted dimensions. A new timeline was activated, not by effort, but by the intensity of your inner acceptance. You did not need permission from the world. You didn't have to wait for validation from others. You didn't need the facts to change first. All it took was one real moment of inner conviction, and that alone was enough to set a new course in motion. Finally, such a moment, it might not look like it yet. The people around you might still treat you the same. Your bank account might not yet reflect the abundance you envisioned. Your relationship status might not have changed. But these outer reflections are old echoes. They are the delayed effects of a past state of consciousness. Your inner world has already crossed over to something new. And because of that, everything around you must eventually realign. The world is not fixed. It is fluid. It bends to match the strongest assumptions you hold. You are not bound to the circumstances you see today. You are bound only to the reality you have claimed within. And that claim, that shift, took place the moment you said, "This is who I am now." Do not be fooled by appearances. They are shadows lagging behind the light of your inner decision. Just as sound travels slower than light, your outer world is simply catching up to the reality you now carry. What you once believed to be far off is now part of your current spiritual address. The version of you who has arrived is not someone you're trying to become. It's the version you've already embodied in imagination. In that moment of true belief, when you first imagined with feeling, with certainty, with peace, you entered a new state. And every state comes with its own timeline, events, relationships, synchronicities, and outcomes. You moved from being a seeker to being the one who has already found. You stepped out of waiting and into fulfillment. This shift isn't loud. It doesn't always come with fireworks. It's quiet, internal, sacred. But just because it's subtle doesn't mean it's weak. In fact, it's the most powerful transformation a human being can experience. The shift from longing to having, from wishing to knowing. So what do you do now? You live as if it is done. You stop searching for signs and start being the sign. You align your actions, your words, your expectations with the new identity you have assumed, not to force the outer change, but because the inner change is now your truth. You stay loyal to the unseen, because you understand the seen is always late to the party. Let go of the need to convince the world. You've already convinced the only power that matters, your own consciousness. And because consciousness is the one and only cause, the world has no choice but to yield. Every conversation, every coincidence, every opportunity will begin to rearrange itself to match the state you've chosen. Your job now is simple. Maintain the state. Stay anchored in the new reality you claim. When doubt whispers, remember, it's just an echo of a former self. Don't fight it. Just return to the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Let it saturate your thoughts, color your moods, and guide your steps. You have already moved realities. The shift is not coming, it has already occurred. Now live from it, speak from it, rest in it. Trust that your outer world will soon reveal what your inner world already knows to be true. And when it does, you won't be surprised. Because in your heart, you knew it all along. There is one sacred responsibility on the journey of conscious creation. Remain loyal to your inner knowing. That is the only real work you are ever required to do. Not effort in the outer world, not trying to manipulate people or change circumstances. The real task is inner, to persist in the unseen truth you have already claimed within. You do not need to fix the world, because the world is not broken. It is simply a mirror, a reflection of the assumptions, beliefs, and states you continue to dwell in. Your job then is not to rearrange the reflection, but to persist in the identity behind it. This can be challenging at times, especially when what you see outside appears to contradict what you've seen and felt within. There may be moments where doubt creeps in, whispering, "It's not working," or "Maybe I was wrong." But in truth, these doubts are not facts. They are remnants of your old conditioning. They only hold power when you believe them. The delay you sometimes experience is not a punishment or a failure. It is simply the time it takes for your outer world to reorganize itself around your new assumption. Think of it like planting a seed. You don't dig it up every day to check if it's growing. You water it, you nurture it, and most importantly, you trust that the invisible process is underway. So too with your manifestations. You imagined something, you felt the reality of it, you accepted it. Now the invisible roots are forming. The shift has occurred, even if your physical senses have not yet caught up. All that's required now is persistence in that inner conviction. This doesn't mean forcing yourself to feel perfect all the time. It means that even when things appear uncertain, you return to the truth you know within. When fear or doubt arises, you gently remind yourself, "I know who I am. I know what I have accepted, and I trust the process." What you persist in becomes your life. The outer world must conform to the inner pattern. This is not positive thinking, it's a spiritual law. All creation begins in consciousness, and consciousness always expresses itself. So if you have seen your wish fulfilled within, it is already done in the unseen. And what is done in the unseen must appear in the seen, if only you remain loyal. This kind of loyalty is not passive, it's powerful. It means you choose the higher vision again and again, regardless of the noise outside. You train your mind to look beyond appearances. You speak, think, and act from the end, from the version of you who already has it. You may stumble, you may feel discouraged. That's okay, just come back. Come back to the inner knowing. Let it become your anchor, your home, your center. Let it be more real than the facts, more real than the bank account, more real than the diagnosis, more real than the delay. Because here's the truth. If you remain faithful within, life will have no choice but to reflect that faith without. Your world will bend, shift, move, and open in ways you could never have predicted to honor your sustained inner conviction. So you see, the only work is to hold the state, to stay in faith, and to trust the unseen. That is your only responsibility. You don't have to know when or how. Those are not your departments. Your role is simple but sacred. Persist in what you have already accepted. Let the world do what it will. Let appearances come and go. You don't need to fight, chase, or prove anything. You only need to stay loyal to what is true for you, within you. And if you can do that, if you can persist, not with strain, but with inner certainty, then the world will have no choice but to rise and meet you there. Because persistence in the inner knowing is the only real work, and it is always enough. There is a secret known by those who have awakened to the power within. Life bends to the inner state. What you experience on the outside, the people, the events, the so-called coincidences, are not causes in themselves. They are effects, shadows, cast by the dominant tone of your consciousness. The outer world is not objective, it is reflective. It does not initiate, it responds. Your thoughts, feelings, assumptions, and reactions are not just private experiences. They are creative forces. Whatever state of being you dwell in most consistently becomes your personal reality. Whether that state is one of joy, peace, confidence, lack, fear, or doubt, your world will align with it without fail. You don't have to manipulate circumstances to get what you want. You don't have to convince people, beg for opportunities, or work harder than everyone else to receive what is already yours in imagination. The only real task is to inhabit the state that implies your desire is already fulfilled, and the world will conform accordingly. When you understand this, your relationship with reality changes forever. No longer do you see yourself as a victim of chance, fate, or timing. You see the world as it truly is, a mirror. It cannot show you what you are not willing to be internally. It must reflect what you persistently entertain in thought and feeling. If you are seeing delay, confusion, or opposition in the outer world, do not try to fix the mirror. Don't chase after the reflection. Go to the source, your inner state. What have you been assuming? What have you been identifying with? What story have you been secretly telling yourself? When you change the inner script, the outer scenes shift automatically. Just like changing the reel in a projector changes the movie on the screen, changing your dominant state changes the world you walk through. You don't have to ask permission. You don't need proof. The shift is internal and sovereign. The law is impersonal. It does not care whether you're imagining success or failure. It simply reflects what you feel to be true. That's why awareness, conscious awareness, is everything. You must become aware of what you're accepting as real within yourself. Because whatever that is, the world must echo it. This is why you must stop chasing. The more you chase something, the more you reinforce the belief that it is not yet yours. You keep it away by seeing it as separate. Instead of striving for change out there, enter into the feeling of the change already accomplished. Claim it, assume it, be it, now. Even when the facts say otherwise, remain loyal to your chosen state. You may not see immediate changes, but know this, the outer world is already bending. People will say new words to you. Doors will open. Situations will unfold in ways you never could have scripted, but they must, because the law cannot be broken. Do not let appearances deceive you. The outer world takes time to catch up, but it is already in motion. Like a delayed echo, it is responding to your inner tone. Hold that tone long enough, and it will become your lived experience. Every breakthrough you desire already exists in the unseen, in the state you are willing to occupy within. You don't become worthy of it by effort or by pleasing others. You make it yours by dwelling in the state of having it now. So if you want the world to change, change yourself. Not in struggle, but in identity. Begin thinking from the end, feeling from the fulfillment, acting from the assumption that it's already done. From this place, you won't chase results, results will chase you. The truth is simple but profound. Circumstances will always bend to match the inner state. Choose your state with intention, and the world has no choice but to follow. At some point in your manifestation journey, you will be tempted to ask, why is it taking so long? But that question arises only when you believe time is your master rather than a servant of your inner world. Let this truth sink in. There is no real delay. You are simply catching up to what you've already created in consciousness. The moment you imagined your desire with conviction, when you felt it to be true and real within, it was done. Not halfway done, not conditionally done, done. In full. You shifted realities in that moment. A new version of you, living in that fulfilled state, was activated instantly. So why don't you see it yet? Because life unfolds through what may be called a bridge of events. A series of natural, sometimes ordinary seeming steps that carry you from where you were to where you've already arrived spiritually. These events are not random. They are the path of least resistance toward your assumed outcome. They're the rearrangement of the world around you to reflect the inner truth you've accepted. And while walking this bridge, your job is simple. Stay faithful to the end you've seen within. The mind may panic, the senses may scream, but none of that matters if you remain loyal to the unseen. The illusion of delay is what tests your faith, but it is just that, an illusion. Time is not your enemy. Time is not standing between you and your desire. Time is the stage on which the invisible becomes visible. You are not waiting for your desire is waiting for you to match it in faith. What seems like slowness is actually grace. It is your consciousness preparing you, aligning you, building unseen connections and opportunities that you could never orchestrate through logic alone. The bridge may take you in unexpected directions. People may leave, ideas may form, discomfort may arise, but every step is meaningful. Nothing is wasted. Everything is part of the unfolding. And here's the beautiful paradox. Even the feeling of waiting is part of the manifestation. It shapes you, deepens your conviction, purifies your assumptions. It gives you space to embody the new identity. Not as someone hoping, but as someone becoming. So when you begin to feel restless, remind yourself, I am not waiting. I am aligning. I am catching up to the version of me that already exists. This isn't blind faith. This is inner knowing. You're not creating something from nothing. You're magnetizing what is already yours. Let go of the urge to make something happen. The bridge of events is always more intelligent than your plans. Trust that what needs to come will come, and what needs to fall away will fall away. Your only work is to occupy the state of the wish fulfilled and remain there. You may not know how close you are. You may not see the full picture, but life has already answered your assumption. Reality has already begun to shift. The inner move has been made, and now the outer world is simply responding. Keep going. Keep trusting. Keep showing up from the end. Do not measure the timing. Do not compare your journey. Every outcome is unfolding at the perfect pace for your expansion. It may not always feel convenient, but it is always precise. And when it arrives, When the dream becomes fact, you will look back and realize the delay was never real. You were never waiting. You were simply becoming. You were walking the bridge toward the version of you who always knew it was done. So breathe. Relax. Know this, what you want is already yours. And you are on your way to meet it. Not through force, but through faith. Not through effort, but through alignment. The delay is illusion. The destination is inevitable. Walk in peace. You're simply catching up to your fulfilled self. There is a sacred truth that governs the fabric of your life, yet it is so subtle, most people overlook it entirely. Imagination is the womb of all change. Every shift, every transformation, every miracle begins first as a quiet inner image, a vision, a feeling, a knowing, before it ever becomes fact in the physical world. Imagination is not child's play. It is not fantasy. It is not escapism. It is creation in its rawest, most potent form. When you use your imagination consciously, not to replay the past, not to worry about the future, but to create deliberately, you awaken your true power. Everything you now see around you was once held in the mind of someone who dared to imagine differently. Every building, every invention, every piece of art, every healed relationship, all began as invisible substance before it took form. And the same is true for your desires. They are not distant dreams. They are seeds already planted in the fertile soil of your consciousness. Your job is to tend to those seeds, to water them daily with belief, to revisit them, feel them, experience them inwardly as real, even when the outer world says otherwise. This is not about hoping or wishing, it is about living inwardly from the end. When you persist in an imagined reality, you are not being delusional. You are authoring your life from the inside out. The world does not respond to effort alone. It responds to assumption. What you accept as true within, what you consistently entertain in your mind and heart, is what you will eventually meet in your external world. Thought, when clothed in belief, becomes fact. You may wonder, how can something so invisible create something so real? Because imagination is not just a function of the mind. It is a spiritual power. It is your divine faculty of creation. When you imagine with feeling, you impress your subconscious mind. And the subconscious, being faithful and impersonal, sets in motion everything necessary to make your inner picture an outer reality. So if you desire change, go first to imagination. Don't wait for the world to shift before you believe. Believe, and the world will follow. Create a vivid inner scene. Feel it real. Hear the voices. See the details. Walk in that world in your mind until it becomes natural to you. The more natural it feels, the closer it moves toward expression. Guard your inner world with care. Do not use your imagination to rehearse fear, doubt, or failure, for those too will bear fruit if nourished. Instead, choose to dwell in the state of fulfillment. Imagine how it feels to have already become who you wish to be. Live in that state often, especially in the quiet moments, before sleep, upon waking, in stillness. These are the moments when your inner work becomes most powerful. And remember, you don't have to know how it will happen. That is not your task. The bridge of events will unfold naturally, guided by the intelligence of the subconscious. Your task is to hold the end in imagination and trust the process. Even if nothing appears to be changing on the outside, do not be discouraged. The shift has already occurred inside, and all outer change must follow the inner move. Stay faithful to the image. Stay loyal to the feeling. You are not daydreaming. You are planting futures. So pause, close your eyes. Return to that inner world where all things are possible. Go there often. Play with new realities. Sculpt new identities. Fall in love with the unseen. Because what you build in imagination today will become your experience tomorrow. Imagination is not a luxury. It is your original creative power. It is the womb of all change. And when you learn to use it deliberately, nothing is out of reach, everything begins within. And when you live from that truth, you stop waiting for the world to change and you start changing the world from the inside out. There comes a moment in every conscious creator's journey when a choice is made, not in the outer world, but deep within. That moment is sacred. It is when you say with absolute conviction, "This is who I am now." That is the moment the shift happens. Not when the money arrives, not when the relationship is fixed, not when the recognition comes, but the instant you accept the new identity within, the change is done. From that point forward, the shift is irreversible, unless you undo it by falling back into doubt, fear, or old patterns of disbelief. But if you hold steady, if you refuse to entertain the lesser version of yourself, then nothing can stop the outer world from reflecting the change that has already occurred within. You don't need to struggle, hustle, or prove yourself. You've already moved, you've already entered the state of the fulfilled desire. You've claimed it, felt it, and accepted it. Now the rest of your life is simply a process of alignment, of the world catching up to your assumption. But this process requires faithfulness. It requires that you remain unshaken by appearances. Because yes, at times the outer world will try to tempt you back into the old story. People may not treat you any differently yet. Situations may look the same. Even your emotions might fluctuate. That's normal. But remember this: facts do not come first. States do. And once a new state is assumed, the facts must follow. So stand firm. Don't panic if nothing looks different on the surface. The seed has already been planted. The shift has already occurred beneath the soil of appearances. Do not dig it up with doubt. Do not cancel the process by wondering if it's working. Trust what you've claimed. The world is a mirror, not a maker. It does not create your state, it reflects it, and it may take time for the mirror to update, but it will. Every person, every event, every opportunity will begin to adjust itself to align with the version of you that you now embody. Life must reorganize around your new identity. And here's the liberating truth. You don't need to do anything to make this happen. You only need to hold the state. Act naturally from that place. Think thoughts that match it. Speak words that affirm it. Let it become your default position. Even when you're tired, even when the old world echoes back, even when no one around you sees the change yet, remain unshaken. That's the work, that's the power. When you feel tempted to doubt, remind yourself, I've already shifted, it's already done. Let that be your anchor. The only thing that can delay your manifestation is abandoning your assumption. But if you stay true to it, if you persist regardless of outer facts, then the change is inevitable. This isn't about perfection, it's about commitment. Commitment to the new version of you. Commitment to the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Commitment to living as if it's already so. Because within you, it is. Do not be surprised if you feel resistance. That's just your old programming trying to survive. Let it fade. Don't fight it. Just return to your inner knowing. The old you may echo through memories or habits, but it holds no power unless you feed it. Your new state is your home now. You don't visit it, you live in it. And because you live in it, you will begin to see it all around you. Without effort, without force, life becomes reflection. So breathe deeply, stand tall. Let the world do what it must. You are already who you desire to be. You've shifted. And that shift cannot be undone unless you turn back. But you won't, because now you know the truth. Remain unshaken. The shift is irreversible. And from this inner stillness, all things must come to you. In closing, remember this. Your reality is not something you chase. It's something you choose. The shift has already happened within you. Every desire you've dared to imagine has been heard, accepted, and planted in the fertile ground of consciousness. You are not becoming, you already are. The outer world is simply catching up to what you boldly claimed within. So stay loyal to your vision. Remain unshaken by appearances. Trust the bridge of events. And above all, continue to live from the end, knowing that imagination is the true birthplace of everything you seek. You are the operant power, you are the cause, and your faith is the force that brings all things to life. Thank you for listening, for trusting, and for stepping into the truth of who you truly are. Now go live it, boldly, faithfully, and without hesitation. Thank you.